do that every single time. So back by popular demand, here we are, new year, new you. And we've got 3 transformative strategies for lasting health and vitality. So remember, Zonya does rhyme with lasagna, so I didn't make that up. She taught me this, folks. So she began by casting this great, unique inspiration with Zonya's Healthy Bites, which was a weekly show on PBS that aired across the nation for over a decade. And now she has over 100,000 subscribers to her robust YouTube channel. If you haven't checked it out, you need to, because I am a faithful watcher. So thank you, Zonya, for doing that. She is also the author of Fastest Way to Healthy Lickety Split Meals and Eat Real Cookbooks. So many of you remember last year, we actually gave away several copies of our Eat Real Cookbook, just as a way to help get us all inspired and think differently about eating real food. So she's got numerous TV quality online programs, of which I participated in some of those as well. So everything addressing diabetes, lowering your blood pressure, which I've been working on religiously myself over the last year, and then conquering cholesterol and inflammation. Who hasn't heard those words lately, right? So don't forget, our goal here today with Zonya's help is to shock your doc at your next appointment. We want to make sure that you are doing everything you possibly can to live a longer, healthier, happier life. And just remember, life starts with inspiration. So let's get inspired by living the new year in a new way. So without further ado, folks, I'm going to turn it over to our guest today. As a reminder, this is being recorded. It will be posted on MTL, and I am manning the chat. So thank you for joining us today. We hope that you truly, truly enjoy yourself. And now it's all yours. I'm going to go off camera.
Bye. Thank you so much, Sarah, and welcome everybody to my kitchen in chilly Michigan. Yes, and it's a cold tundra out there, and probably not so much where you are. And thank you for joining me today. 3 transformative ways to actually have health and vitality this year. Now, there's lots of things, lots of noise out there. What should you do first? What would be just 3 little simple things? And as I really prepared for this today, like I have like hundreds of things to pick from, but I got her down to 3 core things that I'm going to tell you, you do these 3 things, it will transform your health and your vitality. 3 things. Now, before I jump into these 3 things, I want to talk just a little bit about what's the best diet, right? There's the vegan diet, there's the keto diet, there's the Mediterranean diet, there's intuitive eating. And yes, intuitive eating and the Mediterranean, you may have seen it in US News and World Report, that the Mediterranean diet is won for like 6 years in a row as being the #1 diet. And it is really true. And these 3 things I'm going to share with you align with and get you going on the Mediterranean diet. All right. So it's definitely the best way, a really healthy or vegan. Vegan is good too, but they can be Mediterranean. So making that happen. But I want you to know, you don't have to be confused about what to eat. It's just keep it simple and eat real food. Yep, that's right. Just eat real food. When you're looking at all the ultra processed food that we eat in America, it's over 60% of the food that most Americans eat is ultra processed food. And so our goal is to just eat real food. It's as simple as that. But sometimes it gets complicated with protein and carbs and fat and protein and, oh my goodness, all the things, right? And real food, that one thing is a great overarching thing. So what is real food? It's nothing bad added in, because that happens a lot in food processing, and nothing good stripped out of it, because that happens a lot in processed food processing. It's as close to its natural whole state as possible. Now, canned tomatoes, as long as the ingredients are just tomatoes, that's good. That's no problem at all. So minimal processing to put it in a can, or freeze corn to put in a bag, that kind of processing is okay, but ultra processing is what is the problem. Now, here's a question I have for you. And so put it in the chat what you think, true or false. All right. So in the chat, which if you have any questions at any time, go to the chat and type your question there. We simplified it today and it's all in the chat. So you can put it there. But can you judge a food just by its nutrition facts? Nutrition facts, looking at the calories, the fat, the sodium, the sugar, the protein, and fiber, all of those things. Can you make a decision about a food based on the nutrition facts? Put it in there, true, 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 or false, 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 or no, no, no. I got lots of falses. I got a true. I got some no's. I got some falses, which no's and falses are all the same. That's good. And so we've got, you guys are mostly saying false, that you can't judge a food just by its nutrition facts. And we've worked so hard to provide nutrition facts. What are you talking about? Well, the answer is false. You are correct. You can learn a lot from the nutrition facts. The nutrition facts will tell you a lot. But the real answer is, it's not advancing, Mr. Scotty. There we go. Thank you. You must look at the ingredient label in order to really know what you're eating. So I always look at the ingredients first, and then I look at the nutrition facts, or at least closely in section. But both of those two things, I want to know, is it real food? And sometimes the nutrition facts looks really good, but you look at it and it's not even remotely real food. Like for instance, this thing right here, monosodium glutamate, artificial colors, and all of, whoa, these things are all concerning. In fact, they've been referring to a lot of these are actual, what they call obesogens. Obesogens, they trigger us to want to eat more, and that creates us to weigh more, and that increases blood pressure, that increases risk for all kinds of various diseases like cancer. And if you don't believe me, then go to Chemical Cuisine under the Center for Science and Public Interest. I love these guys because the Center for Science and Public Interest, I love them because they don't take any advertising dollars from anywhere. And they don't actually conduct studies themselves, but they review all the wealth of studies and information out there and be able to say, avoid asulfame potassium. Asulfame K is a very common, like right there at top, because this is A's, things that are safe, things that are not safe. And they suggest you avoid certain things based on the outcomes. So you're saying there's actual food colorings and food additives and artificial sweeteners that they say to avoid? Yep, there are. So it's pretty surprising. Now you can go over their list. You can go to this website page and it's a big long list, and you can like try to take it to the store and try to avoid things that, or you can just eat real food. It's a lot easier to just eat real food, things that have ingredients that look like foods that you would put together, and that'll get rid of a lot of blood pressure. That'll get rid of a lot of diabetes. That step alone is really pretty powerful. So here's what happens when you start to eat and say, that's my new guidepost. It's real food. It eliminates the bad stuff like trans fats and deleterious additives and preservatives like monosodium glutamate and artificial colors and sodium and sugar. It helps you get those down, and it skyrockets those really essential fatty acids, all the antioxidants, all the really good things like potassium that we don't eat enough of, and magnesium and calcium and fiber that you need. Boom, all those things go up. And what it really does is it recalibrates or unhijacks our taste buds. Have you ever like you're eating some Doritos and you're like, man, these are just, I just can't stop eating these. I mean, what did they do? What's that powdery stuff that they put on it, right? And now that's a pretty obvious one. But there's a lot of things that look healthy and you don't always know that that's so healthy. But we want to get back to our taste buds loving food, loving real food. And it ramps up your desire for the good for you foods. Do you ever notice how sometimes things taste good to you, healthy foods? And if we've been eating a lot of junk foods, then junk foods are what taste good to us. It's kind of interesting how that works. So there you go. All right. I want to share with you 3 daily rituals, 3, count them, 3 daily rituals that I do every day. And I will tell you that these daily rituals, if I didn't do these 3 things, I know that I would weigh 20 pounds more. I may have to be on a medication of some sort because of it. But I'm going to tell you, these three things are really powerful. Really, really powerful. They're life-changing. They will help you with weight control, but they'll help you with energy. They'll help you with blood pressure, with cholesterol, all of those things. And I think these are the three things. If you do any three things this year, and if you only pick one, that's okay too. If you do any of these three things, I think these are the three transformative things. So are you ready? They help you to eat real food, and it's veg it up. You didn't know. What a surprise. Veg it up. It's veg it up. Now, she's telling me to eat vegetables and eat like a rabbit. I think I already knew that kind of a thing. But if there's any one thing, as I'd like you to sit back and think about how many servings of vegetables do you eat right now and how could you up it? And I'm going to share with you the 24/7 veggie tray. Okay, and how this will transform your life. All right, let me show you this. In our kitchen lives this highly fancy Rubbermaid Tupperware right here. This highly fancy Rubbermaid Tupperware. I know it's, I could have something different, something better, but we've had it for years and we really like it. And I want you to know that even though it's just Scott and I know some of you are single, and so one person you might have a smaller container for you. But for Scott and I, we have this 24/7 veggie tray, and we make it once a week and we replenish it throughout the week. But definitely on the weekend when we get groceries, we replenish it. And you think that's a lot for two people, but it's not just for snacking. And yes, it is for snacking. So we have a tub of hummus in there and be able to have veggies and hummus, be able to pour a little bit of dressing in a puddle and use it as a dip or something. But this hits the table when we go to make dinner so that we can snack on something, because you know how you're hungry before dinner and how often you eat dinner before you make dinner, so it's snacking. But I also want to show you that this is the basis for vegging it up in so many other ways. The next way is vegging it up with the easy button salad. Now, I had my brother Cliff over to visit one day, and I made these salads, big giant salads. You got lots of these bowls in your house, right? If you don't, then you need to go on Amazon right now and buy some, or you need to go down to the local store and buy these bowls. We have a set of 4 of these, and they're called pasta bowls, but I think they should be your salad bowls. And to be able to, might open this up. Now, the trick is these little white, why do I use these? Because these will really help absorb moisture, keep moisture away from the greens, and they will last longer. Yeah, it'll last longer. Now you think, it's just Scott and I go through this? Yeah, we do. We absolutely do. And the only time it goes bad on us is when we have been lackadaisical and eating sandwiches and not a salad, and eating things without a salad. And when we're not having that salad at lunch and that salad at dinner, yes, whether it's a large salad at one meal, a small salad at the other, but 2 salads a day, and you're going 2 salads a day. Yeah. Yeah. And make salads with personality. So I love these. My brother Cliff was over and we were having a delicious salad lunch, and he goes, "Oh, this is delicious. I'd love to do this." And he's a single person. He goes, "I'd love to do this, but it's just so much work to make a salad myself." And I go, "Cliff, it's really not that much work to make a salad." He goes, "Oh, yeah, it is. Wash and chop all those vegetables, and it's a lot of work." I go, "Wait a second. Didn't you get the refrigerator that has the easy button on it?" And he looks at me and goes, "The easy button?" I go, "Yeah, it's got that big red easy button right on the front of the refrigerator. Didn't you buy that one?" And then you pop the button and out pops the salad. Okay. No, they don't make that refrigerator, but I've almost got this that easy. Because when you buy it already washed, ready to go, no, I don't wash it again. No, I don't. You're able to get this far, and that was really pretty easy. The next thing is that you have your 24/7 veggie tray. That is not just for snacking. It's for building this salad. And you can build this salad so easily because you have these available to you. You can quickly chop these and put these together onto your salad, right? So just being able to chop up a little bit of to chop a little bit of cauliflower, to chop a few of these red, peppers. You can make a salad in so little time with this tiny bit of early prep that you did. And this early prep has really saved you. And wow, you can put together a very, very delicious salad. Now, the other thing that really makes a salad is onions. And I will get out some green onions or open up a red onion. But because we have salads twice a day, at least once a day, but usually twice a day, then I want some onion on every salad. So I chop it in advance. Yes, this will go bad after a short amount of time, but I'm going to include a small amount of tissue in there, and that tissue is going to towel, this paper towel, and to be able to put some green onion on here. Now, a little quick story. My husband and I were talking, and we've been married for, what have we been married for, hon? Sonny? 36 years, I love to say. 30 of them happy. Anyway, 36 years. And I remember the first 20 years of our marriage is he was always like, oh, don't put onion on my salad. Don't put onion on my salad. So I had always had to put onion on my salad, but not onion on his salad. So one day I'm making salads and I just went ahead and I put onion on his salad. And we're sitting there eating and he goes, wow. He goes, this salad's really good. I go, yeah. And he goes, is that red onion that you have on there? And I go, yeah. And he goes, wow. Yeah, that's really good. I go, yeah, you dork. Well, you know that it takes several times to learn to like a new food. Studies show that for both adults and children to accept a new food, that they'll accept a new food by the 11th try. Yeah, the 11th try. So just want you to know that you can learn to like it. Now, onions, one of the tricks is to chop it really, really fine. If it's not a big chunk, that's really, really helpful for people, but to chop it up. But now that we've been doing onions so long, it doesn't matter so much for us. So I want to encourage you to add salads with personality, to add, sunflower seeds, walnuts to this, and herbs, fresh herbs. I don't have any fresh herbs right now. It's a frozen tundra here. But dried herbs, being able to add so much. Do you know that oregano is an amazing, where's my oregano when you know I'm not going to find it? So I'm going to use basil instead. But being able to add oregano, basil, they're wonderful antioxidants and they add so much flavor to the salad. So definitely add at least one. And then beans. We will often rinse and drain 1 or 2 cans of beans and some garbanzo beans, some black beans, so that it's just that much easier to make a salad and to be able to add our black beans to that, like so. And then you think, great, the salad is looking pretty good, and maybe some feta cheese on here. I like feta cheese. I think a small amount of cheese is pretty acceptable and good. Black olives, because Mediterranean, black olives would be a great thing. Kalamata olives to add to this. But the next thing is to make a dressing. And I'll often, if you get a good high quality dressing like this one, that is an age, this is an 18-year age, you go to those really cool vinegar and oil shops that you might have around town. In Michigan, ours is Fustini's. You can go to fustinis.com if you want to. This 18-year vinegar, this straight on a salad is delicious. It's so good. And if I had a chopped avocado to put on here, I wouldn't add olive oil if I have avocado. Because I don't need, if I put walnuts on here, I don't need to have walnuts and avocado and olive oil. I like to have a fat source, but not necessarily from all those places. And then I'll go ahead and add me, but if you want to make a homemade dressing, you can do a little 2-2-1, and I'm just going to do equal parts of olive oil and a vinegar. And the vinegar I'm using is apple cider vinegar, which, by the way, definitely has all kinds of medicinal properties. And you want it with the mother that has those weird things floating around in it. The acetic acid turns into beneficial fat burning properties. So those good things that they talk about are really, really true. I'm going to use a little combination of both these two, a little bit of apple cider vinegar and a little bit of this really awesome balsamic vinegar. So I've got a little bit of both. And then if you wanted to add a squirt of Dijon mustard, I'm showing you that you don't have to measure. And many of you know this, that just, it's like so easy. Just a squirt of mustard and then maybe a squirt of honey to this, just a squirt of honey to this, and then to add fresh minced garlic to this. And then you can have this and herbs like basil and oregano, and you add this together. And this is homemade dressing. That was not hard to make, not hard to make. So we can get off the bottle of commercial dressings and just really makes a salad. I am so totally eating this as soon as we're done. But this goes on here and voila, this is definitely a fantastic salad ready to go. And I want to encourage you. So hopefully, I hope everything I've said so far, you're like, already do that, Zonya. Next, already do that. Next. Okay, great. If you already do that, then what's next is being able to transform this first step into also snacking, salads, and also into roasting vegetables. And roasting vegetables, you grab yourself your largest bowl you have in your house. Oh, yeah, largest bowl in your house. Oh, that's a messy cupboard. Uh-oh, I can't close it now. There we go. Dun ta da! A bowl and transforming and taking these vegetables, throwing them in here and saying, I'm going to roast off. I'm going to turn my oven up to 400 degrees. And if you have convection roast, turn that oven on convection roast. It's an air fryer, ladies and gentlemen. Now the new ones say air fry because convection and air fry are the same thing. Yeah. So if you've been wanting to buy an air fryer, you don't have to buy an air fryer if your oven is that slightly more expensive version and it says convection roast. You can use convection roast. And then that way you can do like 3 large trays of vegetables all at the same time. And you can toss these with just a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of, do your carrots, a little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper and garlic powder. Out on a spreadsheet, put it in your oven, and you roast it, and it's great. So I want to transform this. So we've got 3 things. Veg it up is number 1, and we're going to do it with a easy button salad, being able to snack, but also being able to turn it, roast it. Let me show you a recipe. And this recipe is going to be our awesome salmon that we're using with some winter pan roasted salmon. So I want to show you this. And let's go ahead and roll tape. Here we go. This is the winter pan roasted salmon and veggies. And this one uses some, just some green beans and some red peppers. So some nice color contrast. And mushrooms are so incredibly good for you. Oh my goodness, they help our brain. They help us fight cancer. They're really great stuff. This uses just a little bit of salt and pepper. And you all get this recipe. So you have the link. Some of you in live sessions, you got pretty cards, or you can print them out. Either way, we've got it for you. And I spread this out onto parchment paper. I'm using parchment paper. And we're going to get this roasting for the first couple 20 minutes or so. Let's see, what did I do for time? We're going to do 12 minutes and get that going, 12-minute kickstart. And then we're going to make this honey mustard glaze for the salmon. So we've got a tablespoon there, and then mustard, a teaspoon looks like of mustard. And then we're going to use some honey. You can use some local honey. I usually use local honey, but this is a less expensive honey when I'm cooking it, when I'm heat treating it. I don't necessarily use local honey. And that's just to save a little bit. And then some soy sauce. We've got that going in there as well. And what a flavor, Dynamo, you guys. This is such a flavorful sauce that was very simple to stir up. Now, however you buy your Alaskan salmon or wherever you get your salmon, this in Michigan is a great option for me. And it's wild. And I feel good about that. If you want to use farm-raised salmon, you can use farm-raised salmon. Just kind of ask and try to get a good source for that. But wild is, in general, better. Now, we're going to nestle these salmon, kind of make a little spot for them. First, we're going to toss these veggies. They're only half roasted at this point. And we wanted them to get a kickstart because they need a little bit more time than the fish. But this is going to make us a really wonderful, we're going to brush on the sauce onto here. Yes, indeedy. And you want lots of good sauce on your fish. And the rest of it I put on the kale. I use the same and I tossed it in the kale. This kale needs a little bit of protection and I just tossed it on the tray like this. And so we're gonna have roasted kale chips with this great little flavoring agent and all that on there. And so back in it goes to finish cooking those veggies a little bit longer. And now to cook that kale a little bit longer. Well, get that kale going. So we're doing 12. So it was 12 minutes and then another 12 minutes. And you can check your fish, make sure it's good, make sure it's cooked. But usually 12 minutes is perfect. It's about 10 minutes per inch. And this was just a tad more than that. And as you go in and you flake it to make sure it's done, it's nice. It's not overly done. It's perfectly done. And that, my friends, and then you nice little crunch to the kale leaves, and because they are chips, baby. Look at that. Nice little chips. Nice little sample taste. Can you just taste it, the aroma? Now, some of you meeting in person, maybe somebody made that, and maybe you're getting to taste it. And if you are, I want to hear about it. Natalie says, how long would you keep an onion around? My husband won't eat them. I find myself discarding most of it because I can't find a small onion. Great point. And it is true. I hear what you're saying. And so we do put our onion in a specific spot in the refrigerator so that we can remember it and not forget about it, right? When it goes to the back and then you get out another one before you finish cutting that. I don't know the magic how long, but I would say 1 week for sure. And I typically don't always cut it all the way. Like I will just chop half of the onion, have some. So in the refrigerator, I'll have some chopped and some not chopped. So that might be a little bit of a trick for you. The other is green onions. That way you can just chop 3 green onions, put it on your salad, and then next time chop 3 onions, put it green onions. So maybe green onions might be more your style. I hope that answers and helps. Heather says, I thought you weren't supposed to cook olive oil at high temperatures. Great question. Love it. Great question. Well, the Italians have been doing it for years and they haven't changed their stroke. So it's up to you. Olive oil, I will say this, sometimes I roast at 180 or 280 because 380 instead of 400. Good point. Whoops. If you would prefer to use avocado oil, I think you are right. I think that is a great switch up and a great change up to use olive oil instead, or to adjust your cooking time to 385, which 385 is the high heat point for olive oil. And you can do that. But avocado oil does have a high heat point. So you can cook with this, or some coconut oil goes that high. Not all coconut oil does, but avocado oil definitely does go to that high heat point. So thank you for mentioning that. That's a great question. So thank you for saying that. I think that is a nice improvement. Although the Italians are still using olive oil and have been and always have been for all their vegetable roasting, just like we did in this. So the Mediterraneans can't be too wrong. But on the other hand, I think that keeping the integrity of the oil safer and not letting it break down in any way. So using avocado oil would be a great switch up. Great point. I'm glad you brought that up. All right. Using olive oil, like I happen to love this Eden olive oil. It's exceptionally high in polyphenols, exceptionally high. And this olive oil is so flavorful, so buttery, and so high in the beneficial polyphenols that are helping us on many health diseases. So I'm using this for salad dressings for sure, using avocado oil for more of your cooking. Good call. Good call. All righty. Next up. Any other questions, Scott? You got them covered. Okay. Hey, Scott's on your job there, Sarah. You know, I know we were going to hold questions till the end, and some questions will wait till the end, but Scott's calling my attention to things that are urgent right now. Okay. Next up, back to our slides. I just wanted to share that to veg it up, we've got our 24/7 veggie tray, and we have this winter pan roasted honey mustard salmon. I hope you give this recipe a try. It's really fabulous. I think it's really fabulous. And some of you, if you are in a group and you actually made it and have samples, please tell us what it tastes like. Tell us what you think if you have that going on. So we have the easy button salads, roasting vegetables. You got that? So number 1, veg it up. Are you ready for number 2? Ready for number 2? Oh, before we go to number 2, I want to share with you that I had given this presentation one time and said, hey, Zonya, I have been unable to get around because of a bum hip for over a year. Her name's Esther. Before I can have my hip replaced, I have to lose 20 pounds. And that's hard to do when you can't get around. She said, over the last year, I have slowly and surely been making progress, but I hadn't reached that goal yet. After attending your webinar, I kicked it into high gear, she says. I eat veggies now like it's my job. In the last 4 weeks, I've lost 8 pounds. And that means I have officially hit that milestone of losing 20 pounds. Now I can schedule that surgery and get on the road to recovery and getting my life back. Wow. 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 There is power in this one. Veg it up. Veg it up. Do you know that American Institute for Cancer Research, all of the places, they want us to eat 10 to 12 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Not the 5-a-day campaign. That was a political compromise because we Americans only eat 2.2 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. But veg it up. Wherever you are, I'm going to encourage you to make it more. Encourage you. What ways? Easy button salad, roasting vegetables. We roast vegetables twice a week and we make a double batch so that we have leftovers because we just love the flavor of roasted vegetables. Stir fries. What are some ways that you can veg it up? I hope that helps. All right. That's number 1. Dun, dun, dun. All righty. Make eating vegetables like your job. All right. So number 2. What's number 2? My daily ritual number 2 is to be sweet, smart. Yeah, be sweet, smart. Well, what do I mean by that? We eat a lot of sugar typically in America. Desserts are kind of a, in some cultures they have desserts once a week. We have desserts almost after every meal. And then our cereals are dessert and our energy bars are dessert. And we have we have dessert in our coffee and our drinks and our beverages. We have a lot of sugar coming in from a lot of places. And so I want to encourage you this year to maybe exercise your no thank you muscle. Exercise that muscle of, oh, no, thank you. Oh, no, thank you. Sometimes we are eating sweets when we don't really need to be eating sweets. And we just are doing it to be nice. You can also say half it and you can have it. And half it and have a small portion too if you really want it. But I want to encourage you to say no, thank you. Or even better, let fruit be your dessert. Let fruit, it's nature's candy. It satisfies all the sweet things in our brain. And when we have a fruit craving, when we have a sweet craving, sometimes it's a fruit craving. And eating an orange, eating some strawberries will take care of that sweet craving that we're having. So remember to have fruit. A lot of people think it's high in sugar and we're avoiding it. No, 10 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. You want to have at least 3 fruits, 2 or 3 fruits a day. Remember, half a banana is a serving. So a whole banana is 2 servings. So it's not hard to get there. Not hard to get there at all. But let fruit be your dessert and make smart, sweet snacks. So I want to share with you today what I think is a smart sweet snack. Let me show you. We're going to make these almond butter bites right here. And it is yummy, easy to make. Yes, we're going to need a food processor for this. So I hope you have a food processor because it's going to use dates. So let's roll tape and I'll show you how these come together. And I'm going to pull up the recipe. There we go. Almond butter bites. And taking a look, we've got some dates. These are medjool. I'm doing these medjool dates, and I just want to show you, make sure you take the pit out and make sure you do. And I kind of tear it into some small pieces like so. And we've got 20 dried dates, pits removed, and a half a cup of old-fashioned oats, quarter cup of unsweetened coconut, my favorite thing, and some peanut butter, about, what is that? 1 cup of peanut butter, that's a lot. Or you can use almond butter. Almond butter, because these are almond butter bites. Obviously, today we had peanut butter, so we use peanut butter or almond butter, either one for this recipe. And next up, vanilla, a teaspoon of vanilla, and then just, a lot of people sometimes omit the honey, but this little bit of honey just brings the sweetness together. It's just a tablespoon, brings that together like so. This also has just a tiny bit of coconut oil in it to help give it a little bit of moisture. That's in there as well. And we're going to blend this up, and we're going to push down the sides a little bit. And we're going to add in our pecans, add in chocolate chips, and then cranberries. These are some optional add-ins to add in. And you can buy 0 sugar added cranberries if you'd like. I'll show you a package here a little bit later. Or you can not worry about the little bit the sugar that they add to cranberries. I don't, because they're so tart, and but they have so much antioxidants. They're so good. Look at that. Is that beautiful or what? These are great, and they freeze. In fact, I think we have some in our freezer. Those freeze well, and they are dynamite, and they're a great energy bite. 1 or 2 of those will satisfy you, and is a no added sugar except for the little bit of honey that went in that. So it's pretty dang good. And that all the great potassium that's in the dates, lots of good stuff going on in that sweet treat right there. So as long as you got a food processor, you can do that. Now, also in the cookbook, we also have, well, let me find it. We also have an energy bite that you can make without putting it in a food processor, just stirring it up. They're called peanut butter cup power balls. They're similar. They don't have dates in them, and you can just stir this up in a bowl. So if you have the cookbook, I know a lot of you do. And then the chocolate chia energy bites is another version where we use cocoa powder, and they are really, really good, and they have a lot of chia seeds in them. So we have 3 different versions of energy bites. All right, but that's my one. Are the almond bites no bake? Yes. Yep, we didn't have to bake those. Yep, we did not have to bake those. Yep, roll them up, ball them, you're done. Love it. So nice raw food. All righty, so being sweet smart. I'd like to encourage you to grow and find really great sweet treats that are healthy and good and sweetened with dates. Dates are like a sweetening superstar. They have fiber, they have screaming high potassium, they have really great good things in them. So dates are adding a lot of nutrition to you, and they're considered 0 added sugar. They're in the fruit department. And what we're concerned about is added sugars. They'll have a low glycemic index, and so they're going to satisfy your sweet sugars without having a big impact on our blood sugar. So I'd like for you to encourage you to try those. All right, got a question. Scott says, do the chocolate chips have added sugar? Oh, that's a great question. You're right. So there is added sugar actually in those. And I used to recommend Lily's chocolate chips because they don't have added sugar. They have, but they have erythritol. And unless they've changed that, I'm not recommending Lily's chocolate chips anymore until they get the erythritol out, because 3 years ago, a study came out that erythritol, as safe as we thought it was as a sugar replacer, it was linked to causing blood clots and strokes and heart attacks. Wow! It was a totally upsetting day when that came down. So erythritol is also in Swerve. Swerve makes powdered sugar and makes, some sugar replacers. So erythritol is often in a lot of no sugar added things. So yeah, you're right. You caught me. That dessert is very low in added sugar. In fact, our recipes do tell you how much added sugar is in each recipe. So let me tell you, hold the phone right here, because we tell you the added sugar is just 1 gram of added sugar in those almond butter bites from the chocolate chips And from that 1 tablespoon of honey that was across and makes, well, this makes a whole lot of balls. It makes a lot of them. Yep, it makes a lot of balls. So there you go.
Can you use blender or if you don't know the food process?
You know what? I don't think a blender with the single blade in the bottom will work. I don't think it will. You'll be frustrated. Can you use a Vitamix that has a pusher that pushes it down for you, or you can push while it's blending? You might be able to get that to work. A Ninja blender, a Ninja that has 2 blades would absolutely work. Those definitely work. So great question. Thanks for asking. Do I recommend dark chocolate chips? Yes, I do. In fact, shall I go over and grab my Ghirardelli? Ghirardelli is my favorite go-to dark chocolate chip, although I will buy the dark chocolate chips at Aldi because I'm an Aldi shopper, and I'll buy those for convenience too. So I actually order these online because they're less expensive and I get a big bag. There's also, like, dark chocolate is really good for us. But there are, I want you to know, there's a dark side to dark chocolate. And that is that they have lead and cadmium in them. So don't be snacking on these like there's no tomorrow and going, oh, this is good for me. This is good for me. We can have small amounts, but you wouldn't want to have a lot of dark chocolate every day because naturally, I don't want to say naturally occurring, they've been studying trying to get the lead out of chocolate, but chocolate grows in countries where it is leaded gas is used, and they process the cocoa beans and then they leave them out by the road to dry, and the cars are going by and the leaded gas, the exhaust, and so they start out as lead free, but then that lead gets on that chocolate. I know it's really, really, really sad, and there's less in milk chocolate and more in dark chocolate. So it's a dark side to dark chocolate. And learning this information, I did a whole video. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see me talking about it, and sharing what the Consumer Reports has found and what the levels are and which brands are better and the whole thing. You can watch that. But the bottom line is quit eating dark chocolate a lot, like large amounts. The cool thing about dark chocolate is that usually just a half an ounce or an ounce is plenty because it's kind of bitter and it satisfies, but it's, something you have to grow to get used to. And so there is a dark side, but anyway, I do use absolutely dark chocolate chips. Thank you for asking. All righty, next up. So being sweet smart, let's review how to be sweet smart. Finding recipes like that one, give it a try. But then also, let's go to our slide, Scott, and make those almond butter bites and be sweet smart. Exercise your no thank you muscle. Let fruit be your dessert. Make smart sweet snacks. And whenever you are faced with the traditional pie, the traditional birthday cake, the anniversary cake, all the fun things that we celebrate with, half it and you can have it. Let's say that together. Half it and you can have it. It's a great way to live in our real world of not everything is perfect all the time, right? And that you can make that work. All right, how are we doing? Oh, we got to wrap this up. I want to get to my third thing so that we can have plenty of time for more Q&A. And that is, how much do you, what's the word? Exercise? I thought you said extra fries. It's a joke. And I named my dog 5 miles so I can tell people I walk 5 miles every day. Ha 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 ha. None of these are you, right? And definitely this isn't you. I'm sure of it. But only in America, where you live. You guys are active. That's why you moved there, right? You love it. All the things that are available to you, and exercise is magical. I know I'm preaching to the choir because I know a lot of you got your exercise routine, you're doing it, and I'm proud of you. And that is tip number 3, is to definitely get your exercise in. And have you found your fitness love? If not, keep trying, whether it's Zumba, whether it's, yoga, whether it's, water aerobics, and, find your thing. Is it pickleball? Find your thing. So many things available to you there. But I'm going to ask this question too. And are you including strength training? Are you including 2 times per week, 30 minutes each time, strength training? Really doing some strength training. And I want to encourage you to make that happen and to include strength training, because muscle is where it's at. Longevity, health, metabolism, all of it, it's in our muscles. And preserving our muscles, you've got to use it or you'll lose it. And I want to share my daily ritual because, yes, twice a week is resistance training, but I wanted to share that my daily ritual is morning, moving, and grooming. Yep, morning, moving, and grooming. There's something that I do every single morning. I anchor it with brushing my teeth, doing my makeup. I anchor it with that. And that is that I do the specific routine of alternating shoulder raises. I'm going to show you this. Counter push-ups, yep, 15 of them, and squats, 15 of them. And I do this every single morning when I get up. Let me show you. In fact, I am not going to show you. I want you to stand up. I want you to stand up with me. That's right, wherever you are, stand up. And here's what I want you to do. As I want you to follow along. And now, if you have a shoulder injury and you can't do this, I totally understand. Do only what you can safely do. But I want to show you, and I want you to participate with me on what I do. And that is these alternating shoulder raises, because these really help activate the spine and help your spine get woken up and ready for the day. And it's simple, it's easy. Pretty much everybody can do this. And I'm alternating back and forth. My heel is coming up, my other heel is coming up. And this is just getting me woken up and ready to go for the day. So the next thing that we're going to do is that we are going to next up do this. This thing. Yeah, push-ups. Push-ups. And I want you to have your feet closer or farther away. That's how you make it easy or harder for you. And the farther away your feet are and the lower your countertop is, the harder it is. But I do this every single morning. Remember, this is anchored with brushing my teeth. And this is some strength training throughout my chest, throughout my arms. And this is a great little get it done, get started. It's resistance training. I will still do my 30 minutes twice a week at the gym. All right, still doing that, but I'm doing this too every single day. 15 of these, you can do it. 15, you can do it. And you will feel this the next day. Woo! And you just keep stronger and stronger. All right, that's the second one. The third one is a squat. Shoulder width apart. We're just going to come down. We're jutting our butt back and coming in. You know how to do a squat, right? And I do 15 of these squats. I do these on the day that I'm going to the gym. I do them every single day. I actually do these while I'm drying my hair. Yeah, all that time drying your hair, drying my hair. 15 of these, 15 squats. This is really using these muscles. And I'm going to tell you, you want to do resistance training. So find your fitness love and do 15 of these. You got that? Yeah, you got it. All right, nice deep breath in and exhale. I can feel my heart rate came up a little bit. That jump starts your metabolism for the day. It's part of my morning moving and grooming daily routine. And I encourage you to adopt something similar. So there we go. There, ladies and gentlemen, are 3 things. Let's go back to our slides and I'll land this plane, shall we? And get this back over so we can be done on time. And that is, what were the 3 things? My daily rituals: veg it up, be sweet smart, moving and grooming. And the question is, will making any of these changes really make a difference? These are the 3 transformative things that I said. Well, we saw that just one of them made a big change for Esther. I really believe these powerful 3 things. And if you just pick 1 or 2, but all 3, I think will really make a difference. And let's see, I don't know why that slide's there. Here we go. Hang on. I wanted to say cookbooks and video programs, come and visit me at Zonya.com. And then I also wanted to say, nope. I wanted to say, don't miss what's next. February 26th, right? We have lower blood pressure with these 3 foods. Is that right, Sarah? And then we also on March 12th, dodge diabetes with these 3 foods. So if you enjoyed the session with me, we got 2 more coming up. So there we have it. Thank you so much, Blue Star and Trilogy. I am so happy to have gotten to be with you today. So Sarah.
We got some questions, girl.
All righty, let's
I'm
do
going to
it.
start at the top because between Scott and I think we've been working it pretty well. So we have a question here, and I've never heard of this app, but it's called Zuka. Is the Zuka app helpful for identifying bad additives?
Yeah, I think it's Yuka. I think it's with a Y, not a Z. I'm pretty sure. If I have my phone, I could look it up to double check that. But
it is
yes,
correct.
It is. I think as with all things, I've had a few things where it rated something not good, all because of it, but it tells you why. And I'm looking at it, I go, okay, yeah, whatever. I think it's still good, and I bought it. It, I think, is a fantastic app. So I think it's YUCA, which is a very weird thing. Hang on just a second here. Let me see if I can locate it because I haven't used it in a while. Hang on. Haven't used it in a while, but hang on. Yeah, YUKA. Yep, that's what it is. Thank you.
Great. Next one is app related as well. Are you a follower of the Bobby approved app?
Well, I don't have his app, but I do follow him on Facebook Facebook. So I do follow him. And I think that he's, with the exception that he is, as with all influencers, who's paying the bill for them is what they influence and suggest more than others, right? Who's underwriting you, right? So with the exception of that, I think Bobby is pretty good. So I haven't looked at his app though. So thank you for telling me. I didn't realize he had one.
There you go. I'm still scrolling because we've answered a lot of these already. Is stevia a safe sugar replacement?
Yeah, I do like stevia. I do. I like, we have stevia drops, and I'll add these stevia drops to things. 4 drops in a beverage that you want to be a little bit sweet. Yep, I use it. And I also use this kind of stevia in baking. So yes, I think stevia in the raw is a great thing. You can, sometimes I'll just substitute half the sugar, but not all of the sugar, maybe. It's half for, it measures 1 to 1. You always want to look on the back of the package for that. But I do think stevia to this day is safe, and the Center for Science and Public Interest rates it as safe. So I think we're safe.
Sounds good. I use it in my coffee, by the way.
Yay.
There you go.
I think it's fine. I think it's fine.
So we have a question here from Natalie about primal kitchen dressings, which you hear a lot about lately. How do you feel about the avocado oil primal kitchen dressings?
You know what? I'm not familiar with that label, that product. I don't have that memorized. So but they use avocado oil. First of all, it's probably fine to use avocado oil. I prefer to use the whole avocado and use the avocado and no oil in my dressing whenever I can. I will use olive oil. I would actually prefer to use olive oil on a salad, but avocado oil is really pretty fine too.
Yeah.
I think either one. So I would not hold that against primal dressings. And I have their mayonnaise in my refrigerator. So maybe it's interesting. I have that brand of mayonnaise. I won't buy it again though. I don't like it. But anyway.
We all go through that as well. We find things that we think are going to be great, and we open them and we're like, this is disappointing.
Yeah, it just sometimes
happens.
But anyway,
do you recommend using monk fruit as a sweetener?
Great question. I do think that stevia and monk fruit, the Center for Science and Public Interest, who I go to, they say caution with monk fruit. only because it hasn't been subjected to safety testing. The only thing is that China has been using it for years, and that it's naturally derived from a plant, but by the time you do all this processing to it, but whatever, I mean, let's face it, just because it's a plant doesn't mean it's not toxic, because lots of plants are toxic, right? So that isn't it, but they've been using it for years and they have not identified any ill effects from it. So that is why the Center for Science and Interest says caution. And another thing is, a lot of people, it only comes from China. And a lot of people are concerned about relying on food sourced from China. Other than that, I do not avoid monk fruit, but I don't buy it and use it in this fashion. But if monk fruit were used in something that I purchased and I looked at it, I would still approve it.
Sounds good. And then, of course, between Scott and I, we are answering the questions. We've got a lot of interest coming up in your next two sessions, by the way. So February the 26th is the blood pressure session. And then cholesterol is March the 12th. Both of those, ladies and gentlemen, are posted on MTL. If you'd like to go ahead and get registered, please do so. And don't forget that all of the recipes from today, as well as the recording, will be posted on MTL for all of our listeners and those tuning in who maybe want to see it again, have a question, or for your neighbor who forgot about it today, they can go back and watch the recording as well.
That's right. Sarah, thank you
Yes,
so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for joining today. And you had great questions. Oh my gosh, you guys are smart.
Fabulous questions. I love it.
Fabulous questions.
And we've got another idea for next year, Zonya, since we only have 3 on the agenda for this year. Somebody's asking, could we add an anti-inflammatory session, which I think is a great one. So we'll do that for 2026 for sure.
We'll do that in 2026 for sure. And I just want to mention, I think you said lower blood pressure for the one in February. And then I think you misspoke and said cholesterol in March, but it's dodging diabetes, I think.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
So I think we are good for today. Glad everybody joined us. It was a fabulous learning session. And quite honestly, I think between Zonya and myself, we pick things that we know are very relatable to our membership and our communities. And sometimes a little selfishly, maybe I pick 1 or 2 just for me. So I'm glad to see everybody else enjoyed it. Everybody's saying they loved it. Great information. So thank you so much for joining us today. And we'll see you next time.
3 things, you guys. You can do it. 3 transformative things. Make 2025 your year. Let's do it.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.